Our world is soaring toward 2012. Time is speeding up. Chaos is shifting into a new level, and we feel the pull to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Timeless spiritual wisdom offers the point of stability to navigate these times and to open our greatest potential. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun and knowledge of visionary best-selling authors Sri and Kira as they explore these mysteries and invite your higher love to come forward. And now, here are Sri and Kira.
Namaste. I am wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka.
And I am Kira Ra, and hold on guys, we're back. You know, in August 2011, Sri and I talked a lot about the God particle, about the unification particles, and go back and listen to that show. It was a really powerful show. But today, you know, we were ready to film an entirely different show, which you're going to get next week on this mind-reading technology, an important show. Stay with us. We had to talk because here it is in our face again, the God particle.
The God particle. What are these droppings that we're looking for through the subatomic field?
And isn't it cool that we have these like billions of dollars invested in finding out the secrets of the universe? I love this.
So let's pause for a moment for those of you that are just catching up. There is a circular tunnel located. It's 17 miles long. That's a big circle.
That's like a huge back tunnel.
17 miles long. 330 feet under the surface, under the Swiss Alps.
I love it.
Now
how
consider
can you not love
they turned off NASA. You know, we're not sending billions to go up to space as much, but we're spending billions to go to inner space.
I love this so much. Don't you guys love this? And the fact that, you know, they had talked about how it would be 2012 when they would discover this. You know, there's been this whole thing about the Higgs boson and where it is going and what it stimulates, because by the discovery of this, it does make people question. Even though we still have this science versus spirituality discussion going on, the bottom line is no matter how left brain you are, you have to pay attention. There is something going on.
Well, the brainiacs, the physics, are very excited. They've had a press conference. They've invited lots of celebrity thinkers, and they've made some announcements.
Well, they have. As a matter of fact, I have announcements.
Yeah, we have one of the pictures you'll find on the web if you go look at it.
You will, and actually I printed this out. This is from CNN. This is today's, and I love it because it talks about how it's a new particle, and this is what I love, Sri. The excitement is about the fact that, and isn't this how it always is in our spiritual life? We start off looking for one thing, right? You begin your journey, you're looking for one thing, you have a really strong idea what it's going to look like, and then something else shows up.
You find something different.
And completely blows your mind. And that's what has happened. And I love this. I love that. Here it is. And I'm quoting CNN. And here's what they say. They say, "We have reached a milestone in our understanding of nature." And of course, for all the brainiacs, they need this hardcore evidence. But what they have discovered was a new particle whose characteristics match the characteristics of the Higgs boson. So it's fascinating that, you know, it's kind of like, wasn't that how they discovered super glue or something? He went looking for one thing and wound up with super glue. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Or was it flubber?
I don't know. It could have been all of that. But, you know, that's what we're at.
What's wild is that this new particle matches the characteristics of the thing they were looking for. And this leads us to all kinds of fun commentary, and we'll poke some fun at this as we continue.
I think we already are.
As we continue.
And it's great fun. It's awesome that we can have this moment.
But consider for a moment that every one of us who's been to school has been told the table or your desk is not solid. It's moving atoms. You know, it's filled with atoms and molecules and atomic particles that are moving. And when they study this, they decide, according to the teachers, now remember, we're naive when we begin, they tell you it's empty space.
Right.
It's mostly empty space. There's just a little bit of particles there. Well, anybody who's done serious meditation and who has traveled a bit in the inner realms will understand that more clearly than those who are just looking through their eyes. But what the scientists have discovered is there are 24 particles, and now 25,
We love this.
that make up our universe.
Yeah.
So everything boils down to just 25 ingredients in God's kitchen.
And you know what's fabulous is that here we are in 2012, and we've been, humanity has been evolving, and we have been growing, and we have been expanding. And in our little slice of this moment of linear time, there are 25. Imagine what they'll be how many more years from now? What are we really, remember, they haven't found Higgs boson yet. What they found was a new particle that looks like the one they were looking for, which, I love this, Sri, because what it says is it's the limitlessness of the universe.
Well,
what
yes.
else is out there?
And the whole intent, what's driving this investigation, is because the physicists have determined that this object is mostly empty space, yet it has mass. There is we like to think of it as weight, but mass is actually a little different. It has form and a weight, a mass. Now the Higgs boson was supposedly the particle that defines how do you get empty space to weigh something. And theoretically, the more Higgs boson particles you have, organizing themselves around, I don't know what it is, a neutron or something, but the more of these particles you have, the greater the mass.
Right.
And that's why they were looking for it, because they felt that this one particle was the key to understanding the physical universe.
Well, and as Sri is sharing this with you, I'm just kind of skimming this more because what's so wonderful here is that this is going to keep scientists preoccupied forever. I mean, they're talking about how they're not going to be able to release more about this until later this year, but it has opened up a greater understanding. And I love this line right here that they're saying, finding this helps explain the origin of mass, one of the open questions in physicists' current understanding of the way the universe works. Now, of course, in the first half of the show this evening, what we're talking about is this scientific explanation. And where we're going to go with this in the second part of the show is where the greater piece of this is. And I have to admit, Sri, this is bringing such a huge smile to my face because the more that we allow all of the beings of the planet to start understanding the greater gift that we have to get out of our head. You can't, even these physicists, the most amazing, intelligent brainiacs on the planet, know that there's more. And regardless of what angle you are coming at, whether you're coming at it from the scientific angle as a physicist, or whether you're coming at it from the spiritual angle, or whatever, or even, all these other things that look at this, the reality is we are all, and this is why I love that it's a circular tunnel, we are all doing the same thing, right? We are all part of this infinite circle. And I smile because I really enjoy that what's going to happen is this is going to, the more they discover, the more complex, the more infinite, the more expansive. And isn't that like your own life? The more you discover.
Well, here's another fun one. So the tunnel is circular, and it's an accelerator.
Right, I love that too.
So you go around, you're in spin cycle. And what they can't see what they're looking for,
right.
So what they're hoping is it bumps into something, and that they're going to see the reaction. They're going to see the residue of a collision. Well, now, just for fun, just back away from this and say, how do you learn? How do we learn about life? We bump into things. We get feedback. We have collisions. We make judgments and deductions as a result of this collision.
Well, I've got to share that this is great as you're sharing this, Sri, because if you ever feel impatient with your own progress in your life, consider that this took 10 years of research and, ready for this one, 500 trillion particle collisions to be able to get to where they are.
Well, don't forget the $10 billion.
Right. So if you're ever frustrated with your own progress, remember, my loves, it's always worth it. It's always worth it. At the end of the day, you're going to find your God particle because it's there. It's waiting to be discovered. You just don't give up. And they talk about, of course, how they had budgetary concerns and, they were going to give up and they weren't going to continue anymore. Well, of course, now, no problem with funding. And isn't that the same with our energy in our own self-exploration? We get to where we think we're at the end of our rope, we just can't go on anymore, and then suddenly,
yes,
we have a moment, and we are reignited. It's such a beautiful metaphor for humanity. I love what's happening right now on our planet.
And so please bear in mind that while on the one hand we're having a laugh about this endeavor, on the other hand we're having a laugh at ourselves.
Oh, totally.
Because science has brought so many wonderful good things to life.
No, wait, that's a commercial.
Maybe they'll send me a check.
Yeah, I know, really.
But the quality goes in before the name goes on.
No, stop, Sri. Just ignore him right now.
All right. So the thing about it is we live on various levels.
Yeah.
So at the physical level, to understand how form is created, how to create things, how to make technologies that serve our lives, that make our lives more wonderful, more efficient, that's lovely. And yet, we all have a deeper yearning for a sense of peace,
yes.
a sense of harmony,
yes.
the joy of appreciating the beauty of what is. And there's no particle that will give that to us. You may have tried particles of various substances. You know, there's a stage in the exploration of reality oftentimes when people explore through chemicals in order to create an experience of connection.
Well, that can feel like a God particle.
It can.
It
can. But I'm chuckling at some of my best friends in college were math people. And pure math, topography and topology and all the purest forms of math are exquisitely subtle, exquisitely beautiful, yet disconnected from the total experience. So what we have here is at one level a serious disconnect.
And at one level a serious opportunity for all of humanity to discover, wake up, and expand. And as we dive into the second half of today's show, that's what's happening. We're going to wake up, we're going to discover, we're going to expand. And I just want to point out for those of you, no matter when you're listening to this show, this discovery was revealed to the planet on July 4th. Now, I find that to be fabulously perfect because it was a day that for many people in the United States is about claiming independence. How powerful that today, a day of inner independence, we can awaken to the greater concept that there is more than this room, there is more than this moment, there is more than the drama, there is more than the chaos. We are infinitely expanding. And so as we infinitely expand, stay with us and take a deep breath because we're going to be right back and we have a lot more to go.
More metaphors to come.
Namaste. I am wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka. Are you noticing that life is speeding up? Are you experiencing changes in perception, interrupted sleep patterns, headaches, and shifts in personal relationships? Chances are you are having a spiritual experience, not a medical problem. We call these experiences AAEs, or Ascension Acceleration Energy Experiences. These are signs that your vibrational rate is accelerating. You can learn more about AAEs and how to reorient yourself to the energy of these transformational times by visiting our website, www.selfascension.com. That's www.selfascension.com. As a nonprofit organization, we offer classes and teaching to support your journey. Visit the appearances page at our website, www.selfascension.com. Blessings on your path.
Namaste, beloved one. This is Kira Ra, and I am inviting you to take a journey of the soul in the land of the heart. Imagine your life free from chaos and filled with creative clarity. Imagine waking up each day in your private lakefront casita, greeted by brilliant sun, flowers, and birds. It is here that you will effortlessly resurrect your divine blueprint in pristine energy. Yes, I am inviting you to join us for a personal resurrection
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. And today we're looking for the God particle, talking about the God particle, and what does it mean?
What does it mean? You know, Sri, I was sharing with Sri that one of the quotes from this CNN article that I love is this one, the way they describe it. They say, okay, imagine the universe is like a party. Well, I can do that. All right, so we can start with, let's start with that. Okay, so imagine the universe is like a party.
Dig the decorations.
Totally. Relatively unknown guests at the party pass quickly through the room unnoticed. People are like, yeah, whatever. More popular guests attract groups of people. Now they're saying,
cluster around
exactly, and they're saying that the more popular guest at this party is Higgs bosons, plural. Now they're pluralizing it, which I love, the Higgs bosons, who will then slow their movement, because now they're slowing down because they're attracting other people at the party. Well, I love this idea about, number one, the universe like a party, and number two, about the law of attraction, and how when we slow down and we allow that we naturally have this attractor field, that there's this ignition process that's going on around us. Do we have to really understand that to be able to embrace it? Probably not. Yet, one other thing I want to quote is what they're saying is, while finding this won't tell us everything we need to know about how the universe works, it will fill in a huge hole in a model that's been used for 50 years. The Higgs boson is the last missing piece, now here's where it gets interesting, of our current understanding of the most fundamental nature of the universe. And Sri, this is what we were talking about in the first part of the show. It's the last missing piece of their own limited current understanding. And I guarantee, Kira's prediction, by the end of the year, when they give you more, they're going to say, now that we've discovered this, there's
a new model coming.
Much
well,
more.
Consider for a moment the revelatory model of Albert Einstein.
Exactly.
He was famous for E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared.
Yeah.
How can mass move that fast?
Ooh, how can it?
It must be tiny. It must be very tiny. And so they're seeking to reconcile Einstein's theorem, which is what it is. It's a theorem that has yet to be disproven, with this Higgs boson particle idea that this is the particle of mass that is moving at such an amazing speed. Well, one of the other things science has taught us that I invite you to just play with for a moment is that light is a particle.
Yeah.
And a wave.
Now, I love that. For those of you that are with us that are already on a more spiritual path, light is, of course, in constant motion. It infinitely expands. It is a particle and a wave. It is all that we are and all that we offer.
And so as a particle and a wave, it's defying the model of the brain. So the brain models, the science models, have to come up with a way that can incorporate both. How can light be a particle, a photon of light, a quantified portion of light, and yet also be a wave?
Now, you know, Sri, I love this, because what you're describing is really the metaphysical debate. Right? What you've just described, because everything that you've just said says, okay, there's going to have to be the people that believe this and the people that believe that. And what's happening is between these two groups of I'm this or I'm that, there's all these new discoveries that are now bringing the groups together. We're at the party, and these new discoveries are walking through the party, and the two groups are going, wow, I am you and you are me.
Oh, I'm a wave and you're a particle.
Let's get together.
But how can we touch?
Exactly. Well, no worries. Yeah, so that's how it comes together.
And so as we begin to play with this and recognize the limitations of using a concrete analyzer, meaning the brain, to apprehend, to know what is. An example of this is a thought. What is a thought?
Great idea.
A thought has form. It has an edge. A thought is actually a thing. Because whatever thought, whatever words, whatever concepts you describe, they have form.
And are they part of our belief systems? I mean, aren't they coming, the form is coming from our belief system?
They do. So this is wonderful as we kind of go inward metaphysically. A thought has a form. It has a boundary around it. It doesn't have mass. You know, it's not that kind of form. It doesn't have any Higgs bosons running around. Yet it has its own form and definition and will attract to it other thoughts that are similar. And when we start having these meditations, these thoughts, and we attract other thoughts, we create a belief system that guides our perception of what is, and we begin to behave in a congruent manner according to these things called thoughts. Now that's kind of interesting because the thought was dreamed up.
And
created out of what? Out of perhaps the wave of light. And it was given the form to make it concrete enough that two people could say, yeah, that's it. That's the thought.
And then when those two people get together and say, yeah, that's it, that's the thought, then they co-create yet another thought.
Right, and
it
they add energy. So like this
Exactly.
Higgs boson at the party, they're adding a group around it which slows it down for other people to see, verify, and lend their energy to it, making it real.
Now, here's something that I think is really fascinating is as we discover more and more, as it is absolutely outside the realm of anyone trying to say this is a woo-woo concept, or this is solely a metaphysical concept, or solely a concept that's outside the accepted paradigms, what's going to happen is those within the paradigm, those that are entrenched in their own paradigm, are going to get a little nervous. You know, when you think about the concept of ancient manuscripts that have been burned and buried, read our Lost Books of the Essene, where they talk about how many times the absolute information has been destroyed, libraries of Alexandria burned. I mean, when you think about all of this profound information that's been resurrected and destroyed, why does that happen? Well, it happens because kind of the powers that be. It's kind of like an Earth is flat model.
Well, the
right?
constellation of thoughts that are imbued with energy, meaning
Right.
belief, are the new thoughts are contrary. They threaten it.
And they threaten it to the point where and I hate to use the word funding, but the reality is we live in a who's funding what world,
Well,
right? I mean,
history's written by the victors.
Right, and in our world right now, the victor is whoever has the most money to buy their victory. And so who's funding what? And so it's fascinating to see how far we're going to go with this Higgs boson discovery. And I think it's fascinating that it's sitting in Switzerland, that it's underneath the Swiss Alps, a country on a planet of polarity. This is sitting in a country that's declared neutrality. Fascinating, isn't it? Do you think that's any accident? Now, I know they could give me lots of other reasons why they selected that site. Yet, in a world that is strongly polarizing, as we are moving toward so many powerful events, and there are all these challenges coming forward in 2012. We've made it through one of the great energy challenges that's going to be that was in June. We have one coming up July 17th around that time, and then another one coming up around September 18 to 20, culmination time December 21, as we catapult into 2013. As we are in this world of really heightened energy, is it any accident that this discovery came in on a day that around the world is simultaneous with independence? Even if you don't live in America, July 4th kind of is just known everywhere. And so so the reality is that we have a chance at freedom. Humanity has a chance at freedom. Can we break from the chains of who has the most money to buy the result? Can we allow the neutral existence to come forward and say, we are greater than this, we are more than this, you are light and you are infinitely expanding, and
All right, now hang on, you are light and you are infinitely expanding. So for those of you that are going, well, I'm not sure, here's what I want you to consider. You don't need a 17-mile circular tunnel.
Although it's cool if you have one.
If you have one, fun. You don't need $10 billion, but if you have it, fun.
Cool.
What you might try is go pick a leaf, pick up a twig, a blade of grass, and hold it in your hand and stare at it.
Now,
and
we're not being tree hugger crazy here.
No, stare at it, and with your intention, ask yourself, command yourself, to look through the leaf.
Now,
to look through the exterior
and you know,
form.
Shri, I want to offer another. For those of you that might say, you know, Shri, that's just a little too tree hugger for me, then do it this way. Hold up 2 fingers, okay? And as you hold up 2 fingers, up just this far apart, bring all of your attention to the space between the fingers. And allow your eyes, and you want to do it so that the background is kind of neutral, like a plain wall or something like that. But allow your eyes to gently adjust between the fingers. And no, I'm not stoned, and I'm not encouraging you to be stoned while you do it. If you are, so you are. But really, try this. And if you do, what you're going to see is the energy. And even if you've never seen energy before, if you practice this enough, you might blow your own mind because you're going to start recognizing the space between the space.
The space between the space, there's more than one way to discover it. And whether you're looking between the fingers at the auric field and seeing the energy, or you take a leaf or a twig and put it in your hand, you might discover, if you stare at it, that you begin to look through it.
Yeah.
It loses its density to the vision of consciousness. And this gateway opens up a doorway for your benefit, for you to break free of these thought forms that keep you trapped in the belief of who you are.
And you know, ultimately, Shri, that's what the God particle is doing. And it's inviting all of us. It is inviting humanity. It is inviting Gaia. It's inviting left brain, right brain, every group in this infinite circle that habitates this planet to break free. July 4th, 2012, the new particle is discovered. That is no accident. It's your moment to discover your own freedom, to find the God particle within, to break free.
And so as we take this time to be together, let's just take one moment to breathe consciously, to relax your mind and simply feel the truth. You are more than this form.
Oh, beloved one, until we have the gift of spending more time with you, may you discover the God particle within and know that all is truly well.
Thank you for joining us today for 2012 Higher Love. Remember that you can find out more about Shri and Kira by going to shriandkira.com. That's SRIANDKIRA.com.